It's that time of year again, and it's just around the corner because Halloween is the time to where you can get the living crap scared out of you. You can go out and party, and of course, it's that time of year where kids go trick or treating, and of course, that time of year where teenagers who are either rowdy or just thugs just egg people's houses for no apparent reason. Greetings, I'm your host, Uptown Rocker, and normally I'll be shooting music videos or making a documentary series or movie, but today I'm gonna try something different. You see, yes, Uptown Rocker is a really kick-ass YouTube channel next to my other ones I had, but today for this segment, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. So this one is called Uptown Rocker Reviews. Yeah, I know, reviews. Just like my last channel, Film Reviewer 2019, kind of cut loose, I decided, why not? So one of the films I'm going to be reviewing is none other than Halloween. Damn, how do I put this in perspective? You see, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill wrote the movie back in 1978 called Halloween. Now, Carpenter got inspired to write this film because he saw the movie that was from the 1950s to the early 1960s. This film was called Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. He got the inspiration for it, so John Carpenter written the plot. Deborah Hill was assigned to direct alongside Carpenter. And, well, this film got its popularity from, it got its popularity because Carpenter's goal for this film was to create a monster, or unlike Dr. Frankenstein's monster, but all Carpenter wanted to do was create a movie about a serial killer who doesn't die. Like, he wanted this character to be totally immortal, immune to death. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the film that started it all, John Carpenter's Halloween. You see, I don't have the footage on me about the film because I won't get the footage until next month or whenever I get a few movie channels again. But I know the movie by heart, so I'll give you guys a brief. You see, the film opens up on Halloween night, 1963. We're seeing through Michael Myers' point of view as a 6-year-old boy. He waited till his sister got upstairs. He was wearing his clown costume, went to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, went upstairs, donned on the mask, went to his sister's room, who was, for some reason, in the nude. Okay, I gotta point out a flaw with this one. Michael, I get you're only 6 years old in 1963. But why do you wait until your sister is completely naked to kill her? Of course, it gives that bullshit of an explanation in Rob Zombie's remake. But moving on, he kills her point blank. She tells him to stop. He goes downstairs, only to be stopped outside by his parents. 15 years later, 1978, he escapes from Smith's Grove Sanitarium Psychiatric Hospital, where he manages to escape by... Okay, I don't get this. I just don't. I guess you can only see the deleted scenes from the DVD cut of it. But, really, how does Michael get everyone out in the courtyard just to create diversion so he can steal the car? But luckily, he had a way of stealing the car. Dr. Loomis gets out of the car for a minute. Marion Chambers, Loomis's nurse, is in the car waiting, but Michael somehow gets on the back of the car, bashes his hand through the glass window trying to choke out Marion, and he steals the car. Loomis says one of the most kick-ass but stupid lines there is, which is, "The evil is gone." Of course, he thought the evil was gone, basically. Of course, I've been asking myself this one question. The first horror movie I ever saw was Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And I've been asking myself this since that day when I was 10. Back a few years back, ask myself, who in the hell taught Michael Myers how to drive? You can't give a serial killer the most embodiment of pure evil driving lessons. You're just signing your death certificate. It doesn't make any sense. But, yada yada yada, a few scenes later, Laurie Strode, was this average teenager in Michael Myers' hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, was, babysitting Tommy Doyle, who was this kid. When Myers went to the school, he thought his sister, Laurie, which we'll explain why they're related in the next video. Michael, went to the... Okay, if he's a serial killer, hunting down this one girl, if Myers is trying to hunt down this one girl that he knows in the back of his mind, and he wants to kill her, why look in the elementary school? Why would that be the first place you would look? What gave you the idea that she would be there? I mean, what gave you that idea? Meanwhile, Myers, on the other hand, found Tommy, but he let him go. When Laurie technically was babysitting Tommy, he says, "But I saw the boogeyman. It's on that side." And I'm like, dude, you literally just saw the boogeyman face to face. You know damn well who you bumped into. If Laurie was babysitting you that very night, sorry if I'm bringing Halloween 2 into this, but if she was babysitting you that very night, why couldn't you just warn her that Michael was coming for her? Why didn't you just warn her that her own brother has broken out of the fucking slammer? I mean, how could you not know who he is? The whole damn town knows about this guy. What is wrong with this kid? He knows damn well who he saw. Of course, we need a fucked up version of why, not version, but a fucked up reason for why Michael's making this long ass journey. Oh, there is this one issue I have completely called bullshit on this one. If you're going to drop something off at Michael's house, I know you went to drop something off at the Myers house. You just realized you dropped something off at your house, You dropped something off at your own house, you idiot. Lori, look at the facts. Michael Myers is your older brother. You dropped something off at your old son of a bitch like fucked up haunted Michael Myers. Relatively bullshit with this whole thing. You just gave your fucking mail to your brother. What was he gonna receive from you? Another weapon? Another reason for him to murder you? Oh, and it gets even more confusing and half-ass. You see, she tries to go home, but get this. Michael just somehow appears right beside the dang bush where she was going, and he goes back behind it. How long was this fucker waiting to murder her? How long was he gonna wait for her? You may be 21, but whatever dope those guys gave you in the institution might have just slowed you down, making you wait. Oh. And it gets even more confusing. Somewhat. Later that night, Dr. Loomis and Sheriff Jackass... Yes, I'm calling Sheriff Brackett Sheriff Jackass, because he is one. The way I could put it is he says, he gives a brutal speech about Michael, of how he said, I met him 15 years ago, I was told there was nothing left, no reason. Yeah, he means this guy had no remorse, and he had no conscience. He doesn't even care what was wrong or what was right, but he was pure evil. He tried to lock him up for another few years, and that did not do him any good. Of course, he said, sounds like he's talking about the Antichrist, if you've seen the Rob Zombie version. But, Dr. Wynn, of all people, this is where the whole driving thing does not make sense. But he says, for God's sake, Sam, he can't even drive a car. And he said, he was doing very well last night. But I know where he's going. Probably going. But for God's sake, Sam, he can't even drive a car. Man, someone's giving him lessons. He was doing very well last night. I knew that part word for word. Now, for some people, and this is a real, honest to God's truth, humanitarian fact. Some people who get really pissed off usually wait a few weeks before speaking to that person again. Oh. But here's where it gets really, really confusing. Michael Myers, the most notorious serial killer, who stabbed his sister 17 times, even though she was 17 years old herself. Since that day when he was committed into the psychiatric hospital, Smith's Grove. He hasn't spoken a word. He was completely silent for 15 years. How can anyone be completely mute for 15 years? That guy just, wow, took the cake for not speaking that long. I give him props, but dang. To be silent for that long, he must have been pissed. But my point is that that night, Michael finds Lori at his old house. Well, at her house. She kills every son of a bitch who was in there. If you see the remake, she hides in the bathroom with Tommy. And Michael breaks through. Loomis comes in there kind of like Batman in a way. He goes in there and Lori is trapped in the closet. Michael finds her in the closet and she stabs him in the eye with a clothes hanger. You stab him in the eye with a barbed wire clothes hanger. That works. But point being is he was blind and she fell down the stairs. Michael just sliced her arm. And moving on. Loomis that night finds Michael and shoots him 6 times off the balcony in the chest. Lori asks, was that the boogeyman? And he says, as a matter of fact, it was. Then close to the end credits, Loomis goes over to look over the balcony to see if he was really dead. Cause what Carpenter tried to make sense of this whole deal. Deal. He really tried to make sense of this whole deal is that true evil never dies. So he looked over the balcony, saw the blood print where Michael would have been, and he was gone off into the night. Well, there you have it. Best cliffhanger of the whole movie of Halloween. Well, sayonara for now.